Oui, je crois que c'est normal. Les participants arrivent. Mm, mm. Oui, oui, il va partir, ça va démarrer. Je pense que je peux démarrer d'ailleurs.
Mhm.
Bonsoir à toutes et à
No,
tous.
I don't, but it's okay.
It's okay. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Que la paix soit dans nos cœurs pour cette célébration de la Journée internationale du vivre ensemble en paix, la quatrième édition, par l'association Éveil Essence, membre du collectif de la Jivep de Caen Normandie. La Journée internationale du vivre ensemble en paix, Jivep, fut adoptée à l'unanimité le 8 décembre 2017 à l'ONU par les 193 États membres et sa célébration est fixée tous les 16 mai de chaque année. L'idée de la Jivep est née le 30 novembre 2014, inscrite à la déclaration d'Oran lors du premier congrès international du féminin pour une culture de paix organisé par l'association Aïssa ONG internationale. Cette journée a été initiée par le Cheikh Khaled Bentounes, dont je vais vous citer un texte en guise de préambule. Le jour où les humains comprendront que derrière l'immense diversité des cultures, des traditions, des philosophies, des religions, il y a une origine commune et que celle-ci est enracinée dans le cœur de chacun et de chacune. Alors commencera la véritable paix. Aujourd'hui, l'association Éveil Essence est une nouvelle fois présente en tant que membre du collectif Jivep Caen Normandie pour participer à semer la graine d'une culture de paix en faveur de la réconciliation de la famille humaine. Dans la crise sanitaire actuelle, nos membres du collectif n'ont pas pu se réunir pour préparer une célébration ensemble en plein air. Et ce fut une opportunité exceptionnelle d'inviter Fawzia Al-Rawi. Et nous sommes très honorés de sa présence et la remercions de tout cœur pour le temps qu'elle nous a consacré. Notre association existe depuis 2013. Elle a pour objet d'éveiller notre contact avec notre essence par la voie de nos sens. L'association a souhaité aborder le souffle vital dans la tradition soufie pour honorer et démarrer ce cycle avec Fawzia pour la Jivep 2021. Non seulement elle porte la voix de la femme, mais retrouver Fawzia, c'est rentrer chez soi, dans la maison du cœur, dans la maison de la paix, car elle est depuis 2007 la fondatrice de la Maison de la Paix de Vienne. Elle est née à Bagdad en 1965. Elle a vécu en Irak, au Liban, aux eaux, en Égypte et en Autriche. Elle a fait ses études en université de Vienne et du Caire et elle est titulaire d'un doctorat en sciences islamiques. Elle est l'auteure de plusieurs livres et donne des ateliers et des conférences dans le monde entier. Le thème du souffle s'inscrit pour nous dans les valeurs du vivre ensemble en paix, et permet une culture de paix qui nous rassemble dans un seul souffle, avec la conscience du lien entre la psyché, la vie intérieure, et le lien perpétuel au vivant par notre respiration. Se réconcilier avec le souffle nous permet-il de manifester une pensée juste, une action juste, une parole juste, dans une congruence intégrale? C'est une question que nous posons à notre invité. Les valeurs du vivre ensemble en paix autour du sujet sur le souffle nous rappellent que l'être humain, en respirant, devient co-créateur de la vie. Il est nourri, mais il la nourrit aussi. Ce souffle de vie qui est en lui, ne pourrait-il pas redonner un souffle d'amour à notre planète touchée par le virus? La maladie qui touche actuellement la planète nous fait-elle pas réaliser que plus que jamais, nous respirons le même air que les humains, les animaux, les plantes et tous les éléments? Et c'est avec grande joie que je donne la parole à Fawzia Rosina Al-Rawi.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me greet you all with the greeting that has always been given since before time, and it is the greeting of peace. Peace be with you. May you be surrounded by peace. May your inner world be a peaceful one. May there be peace on your tongue. May there be peace in your heart. May there be peace in your lungs. May there be peace in your whole being. Thank you very much for that honor of being invited today. And I would like to start to talk generally about breath, just to open for us the space of how incredible we are embedded through our breath in this universe. We breathe approximately 18 times a minute, which means 25,920 breaths every 24 hours. And this is the same time that the sun needs to go once through all the zodiac signs. So, cosmologically seen, the average lifetime of one human being is 72 years. And if we multiply this by 360 days, we reach the same number, 25,920. In a way, the length of one cosmic breath. Compared to that, the breath, the inhaling and exhaling of a mountain takes 15 minutes. So our lungs and our skin connect us directly with our surroundings, embeds us in our surroundings, whether we like it or not. Our surroundings enter us through our breath. We inhale what others exhale. And which is why many infections happen through our respiratory tract. And during our embryonic development, our lungs were part of our intestines. So the lungs come from down up, they leave as a part of the intestines and go up to be formed in the embryo. And our lungs are like a tree turned upside down, with the branches down and the trunk up. And our lungs are also directly connected with our large intestine or colon, which is why there is a link between, for example, a cough and a diarrhea. The breathing process takes place in the middle of our body, just like our emotions. It is located between wanting and thinking. So the lungs are the only inner organ which we can consciously control through our mind, through our thoughts, through our intentions. And the ratio between breathing and pulse is 1:4. 1 inhale, 4 pulses. The breathing is also the intermediary between that which is up and that what is down, between the earth and the universe or the cosmos. So the breath embeds us in the unseen and in the seen world. And through breathing, we realize the dual nature of all rhythmic processes, half earthly, half cosmic. And the breathing is deeply connected with our soul. Exhaling means surrendering to the world. And inhaling means coming back to the source, coming back to one's self. So for instance, when a child is put under excessive pressure, a corset forms around the soul. The breath is retained, and this can be a result in asthma. Our lungs are like the element earth. They carry life, but they grow through inhaling and exhaling. So what we take in and what we give is that which affects our lungs and our breath. And when we have problems with the lungs, like so often, when an organ becomes sick, it can solve a specific spiritual conflict which is symbolized by this organ. Because our lungs do not only absorb air, but our lungs also absorb the light around us. So breathing is, in the Sufi tradition, an essential practice. And we see that by noticing that the word for breathing in Arabic is nafas. And nafas comes from the same root as nafs, which is ego, or it is translated as ego. Now, to truly understand what it means, you have to understand that the Arabic language is a feminine language. And a feminine language includes always the opposite. It is a space and time language. It's not a linear language, but it's a space language that takes in the space. And time is moving in one space. That's why it takes the opposite. So when we talk about the word nafs, which is translated as ego, it also means in Arabic the opposite, which means the soul. But it also means in Arabic, nafs means also human being, because human being has a soul that has come into the body, and when the body was connected with the soul, one organ was formed that had a face to the soul and a face to the body, which is the heart. So when we talk about nafs, or the root NFS, from which comes breathing and ego, but also human being and the higher soul, we understand that in that meaning of this one word, we have already a whole concept. The concept of how to bring the ego back connected to the soul. How do we bring the outer part that is an intermediate contact with the outside? How can we bring it to be connected again with the inner part? How can we tear down the wall that separates it? And here we see already the solution in the same word, meaning through breathing. So breathing or breath is not only something we do to survive, because without the lungs, without breathing, we cannot survive very long. But it is also a tool that has been given to us to overcome barriers and to have the possibility of a deeper understanding. The journey of a Sufi is the journey of the lover returning to the arms of the origin of the beloved, returning to the source we all come from. And in the breathing, or in the Sufi tradition, this source that we all come from is expressed and symbolized by the breath of Hu. So everyone in creation breathes the Hu, which symbolizes an essential name of Allah. So the journey is a journey of love in which we transform from self to true self. Or as the Sufis say, "O Allah, you have given me beautiful qualities, but you also have given me negative qualities. I thank you for the beautiful qualities, and I thank you for the negative qualities, because by transforming the negative qualities, I am coming closer and closer to you. I am, so to speak, feeding my longing through transforming my negative qualities." And with negative qualities, we mean the attitude of the nafs that tends to separate, to think that if it stays and it takes care of its own stability and security, if it stays in egoism, that it is the best deal it has to survive here on this earth. So it is very strongly connected with the breath that we are able to transform ourselves, or to open a space so that transformation can be activated. And all practices on the path of love are aimed at transforming and letting go of one's ego, which is considered the biggest obstacle of realization. It is the process of the drop to realize that there is an ocean it belongs to and formed by it. When the drop experiences and surrenders to the ocean reflects itself in the drop. So I can ask, well, how do I become a Sufi? It is actually very simple. When you let yourself fall from your head into your heart, you become a Sufi. Because the head's orientation is always to the outside. It opens itself to the other, and this is important for our life in this world. On the other hand, the heart is connected with the inside. It opens to the inside, to your true being. And a Sufi is a human being of the heart, a human being of love. But the heart is dangerous. The mind is secure. The mind can measure, calculate, and analyze everything. The mind is like a highway. It is solid, asphalted, secure, and everybody uses it. Everybody moves in a certain direction. So let me be part of the crowd. But what about the heart? When it comes to the heart, it is like leaving the main road and going on almost unseen, hidden, lonely paths. It is like going through the forest or the desert. It is lonely. Nobody can follow you. It is a fall like falling in love. The mind always wants more, such is the nature of the mind. When you already have, what you already have is never enough. So when you start sharing whatever you have, you can know that you're entering the world of the heart. Now, why am I talking about the mind and the heart? One of the most important things on the Sufi path is to connect the mind to the heart, because the mind usually is under the control or incorporation with the ego. And with the practices, and specifically the breathing practices, we try to turn the mind and from the ego to the heart. The moment the mind slowly lets go of the control of the ego and it turns to the heart, the light which is carried in the heart starts affecting it. And when the light of the heart starts affecting the mind sees the illusions of the ego, the illusions of separation, the illusion of suppression, the illusion of racism. And when the light of the heart touches the mind, then the mind turns to the heart, and then the light of the soul that shines through the heart touches the mind. When this is done, the mind starts being nourished by the light of the soul through the heart. The soul then starts having effect on the body. So, as I said, one of the most important things in order to come out of all the injustice we have done to nature and to ourselves, it is important that we connect and turn our mind away from the grip of the nafs through the nafas, through the breathing, to the soul. And maybe we should try one little first exercise of how you can do that. We'll do it for a couple of moments, and it goes as follows. It's very simple. You have 2 points to concentrate. You concentrate in the inhaling on your head or forehead, and in the exhaling on your heart. As so often, we do 2 things at the same time. we start actively just when you dance. When you start dancing at the beginning, it's, you know, you move your body in a way with the rhythm of the music, but you're not really dancing. You're actually a little bit like a little, excuse me to say, that's a little hypocrite, doing as if you're dancing. But then gently, with time, you are overcome by something, and it is something dances through you. It is no more you actively doing something, but it is a quality of surrendering, of not doing, that really takes you into the dance. And the same thing is with practices. At the beginning, we have to do a little active doing so that we can enter into the state of surrender. So let us come back to the practice. We will use for that the name Allah, and you inhale to the head, Al, and down exhaling to the heart, La. So it's Allah. But you have to know what you're doing. You are connecting and turning your mind to the heart. You're bringing heart and mind together so to let them get to know each other. You're creating a link, if I may say so, a friendship between the two. So my suggestion would be that you close your eyes for a moment. Breathe normally. And we will do it with the breath, the so-called earth breath, which is an inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So the inhaling, Al, is to the mind, and La to the heart. Let us do that for a couple of moments together. Close your eyes. Be aware of everything that is there now without changing anything. Let everything be as it is. And in that letting everything be as it is moment, you then just gently start bringing something out of that moment, which is that exercise of inhaling on the level of the head, exhaling on the level of the heart with Allah, Allah. Just be in the moment and stay with that simple breath. To the head inhaling, to the heart exhaling. Let everything be as it is. You just stay with that breathing, accompanying the exhaling to the head, the inhaling to the head, and the exhaling to the heart. And then stop for a moment, keep your eyes closed. And become now sensitive to the pulse of your heart. Feel the pulse in your whole body, in your hands, in your chest, in your head, in your belly, in your legs. Just feel that pulse of your heart. And then open your eyes again. The pulsation of every heart is unique, and the breathing of every human being is unique. And there's a Sufi saying that says, there are as many paths to the source as breaths, meaning every human being breathes differently, and every human being has a unique path to come to their source in themselves, and from that source to the all-encompassing source. So we can make a little pause now if you have any questions.
Oui, je vous remercie pour pouvoir poser les questions à Fawzia. N'hésitez pas à écrire et pour qu'on puisse traduire les questions en direct. On va laisser quelques temps pour peut-être un retour sur ce que vous venez d'expérimenter ou d'autres sujets, qu'on puisse poursuivre et répondre à vos besoins. C'est le désir de Fawzia. Alors, il y a une question. Souvent dans les pratiques, tu nous dis de faire une pause entre l'inspire et l'expire. Qu'est-ce qui se passe pendant cette pause? À quoi sert-elle?
It is said that the world was created through the exhaling of the divine. We were brought into this world. And in that pause that comes after that, it is the time that we spend on this earth before we are inhaled again. The pause is a coming together of the seen and the unseen. That's why in many practices, it is the pause that is essential, more than the inhaling and the exhaling. It is in the pause where we are completely in the moment, where we are in a state like death. We do not breathe. It is a state of complete presence and surrender and peace. So it is practiced in that pause between the breath of life that we then understand that behind the multiplicity, behind the ambiguity, behind the manifestations, there's one source. And this we can experience specifically in the pause. It is the pause that gives us the deeper understanding of what is obviously seen and what is hidden. And it is a pole of change, because inhaling is coming back home, coming back to one's own source, coming back to the all-encompassing source. So it is unity. And exhaling is always multiplicity. It is entering into the world. Just like the soul, when there's a story that when the soul was asked by our Creator to enter into the body, it did not want to enter. It is only through the music that put the soul in an ecstatic moment, that it was agreeing on leaving the world of oneness and entering into the different worlds. Because the body is a symbol of the different worlds. We have fingers, we have feet, we have a nose, we have eyes. There are different, many, already our body is a multiplicity. So it is through music that the soul could surrender and enter and leave the world of oneness. But the longing of the soul is always for the world of oneness. And in the moment where there is no breath there, if you stay longer in that pause, you will feel how the soul is breathing. That's why this pause is considered so precious in the Sufi tradition.
Merci beaucoup, Fawzia. On a eu des difficultés pour la traduction. Mona a son micro. C'est pas grave, je pense que certains ont dû comprendre l'anglais. J'ai une autre question pour Fawzia qui concerne le sujet du lien entre les poumons et les intestins, de développer un peu plus la similitude entre la toux et la diarrhée.
If we, generally speaking, we say sneezing has to do with the outer world. Coughing has to do with inner processes. That's why when you have a cold, it always starts with the sneezing. And then at the end, before it goes away, there's a short period of coughing. Because every illness, if I may say so, is also there to give us the opportunity for understanding something or integrating something we have overseen. And the last process of having a cold is coughing, because here is the time of integrating this new experience, this situation we've been in. This is one thing. The other thing is that, for example, we all know that we can control our hunger through our breath. If you are hungry and you do not want to eat, by breathing intensively, the hunger can go away. This is one of the symbols or the understandings why the intestines are connected with the lungs. And when the lungs become too slimy, when they try to go back to their origin in a way, also there you see how these two organs are connected to each other. So the digestive system has a is directly connected to how we communicate and what we take in. And what is even more important than what we take in is what we give out. That means our exhale, because the exhaling is our contribution to this world. So the exhale you carry, you are giving from yourself. You're giving your attitude towards life through the breath to the outside. You're giving your mental thoughts, how you think of things through the breath. This is what you are contributing to the world. So breathing and is not only that I take in what others are exhaling, but what is more important is what am I exhaling and giving to the world, because I can change with my breath the energy of a whole room. Specifically, if that breath is connected consciously with the heart. Because the highest electromagnetism in the body is in the heart. And electromagnetism is life. So if you want your breath to be full of life, it is, and to have a healing breathing, it needs to be connected with your heart. A breath that is not connected to the heart is enough to survive, but a breath that is connected with the heart makes you truly live.
Merci.
So when you have problems with the lungs, excuse me, when you have problems with the lungs, you always should look at the digestive system as well. It can be that it has to do with the lower part of the body more than with the upper, or with the middle part. Sorry, Salima, thank you.
Non, c'est moi qui suis désolée d'avoir coupé. Je croyais que c'était Fawzia avait fini. Donc, merci beaucoup pour la... Il y a encore une question qui concerne le soin, Fawzia. La question est quand il y a des pratiques donc pour relier le mental, la tête avec le cœur, et de nous connecter à la source, qu'en est-il du bassin? Existe-t-il des pratiques pour relier la tête, le cœur et le bassin? Et pourquoi? Et est-ce qu'elles peuvent soigner des blessures présentes dans nos mémoires du bassin?
With pelvis, you mean with the belly?
Alors, c'est un spectateur anonyme qui a posé la question dans le chat. Il faudrait qu'il précise. Je pense que ce sont les mémoires de... Oui.
The unconsciousness.
Ah, moi, je n'ai pas le nom, d'accord. Alors, Nadia, est-ce qu'il faut... Elle dit le ventre.
Yeah, ventre. Okay. If we look at our body, we have straight lines, we have roundings, and we have semi-roundings. The straight lines are the arms and the legs. All straight arms, all straight things are always things that are connected to the world. Everything that is round in us is connected, if I may say so, to the universe. And what is semi-round is the bridge between the two. The bridge between the two is in the ribs, where the heart is. It is the semi-round of the ribs, and in it is the heart. So yes, when we breathe, we bring up from the unconsciousness, what is hidden in the unconscious, we bring it up into the present. And in order to transform that and to be able to understand it or to reread the book of our life, it is important that we bring it on the level of the heart. Because it is only on the level of the heart in the present where we are able to look at it in the maturity of the moment now. And this is also how the Sufis heal. The Sufis do not analyze much in the past. They don't go into long analysis that, oh, this was like that and this was like that and so on. They do not go, if I may say so, back to the small child that is in the hospital and visits it and talks to it, but they go and take the child out of the hospital and put it in the present. So it's just a picture I'm using. So there are breathing techniques where you lift up from the unconsciousness on the level of the heart, showing it to the wisdom of the heart, because the heart can give you a deeper understanding of everything that you have experienced. So the question transforms from, and I'm talking about believers, so I'm going to express it in this way. The question is no more, oh, what is Allah doing to me? But the question transforms into, what is Allah doing through me? And this is a question only the heart can give, and only the heart can answer. The mind is not able. The mind is too much connected to the world and in trying to analyze the past to have a secure future. This is what the mind does. But the heart has the wisdom of the soul that shines through it, and it can embed you not only in yourself, but also in your surrounding, and above that into the greater existence, or what we call Allah. And what is also important is the attitude that we have. If we have the attitude that everything in this universe has a soul and a heart, everything around you is living, and everything has a drop of divinity in it. And we human beings are the ones in which all the drops in all their manifestations are collected. That's why nothing is strange to us. We can connect to an ant, we can connect to a tree, we can connect to the clouds, we can connect to a tiger. Although everything is different, there is something which we can connect with all of existence, because we carry the archetypical divine names in us that can be seen partly in everything. So we human beings are forming the soul, and the universe is actually our body. So if we have these understandings, and we look at the sun, and we look at the moon, and we look at the stars, and we widen our heart in generosity, then this quality of separation that from time to time jumps upon us, especially if times of fear come up, or times of sorrow or worry, then we go into that quality of separation. And here, breathing helps us to widen. Whenever it gets narrow, whenever fear comes upon us, breathing helps us in widening again, helps us in transforming, on coming out of the cage of fear. There's no human being on this earth without fear. Fear is important for development. Fear makes you alert and wakes you up. But if you're overwhelmed by fear, then fear can become a prison. So the breath helps us in overcoming that. And it also helps us in overcoming resistance. Because the ego always has wishes and ideas how things should be. And if they are differently, then we go in resistance. And resistance brings then sadness and anger, and the strongest upon them is the self-pity. And when we swim in the soup of self-pity, then we become blind. We become blind of all the things because we do not see ourselves anymore. And we don't value and honor ourselves anymore because we see ourselves in the state of nothingness or very little, very low esteem. So breathing can help in that too. But you also need to give an understanding to the mind, especially in cultures where the mind is so important. If you do not feed the mind or to a different understanding, then it is not enough to breathe. Or yes, if you can breathe for 100 years, then it would be enough. Thank you.
Alors, s'il n'y a pas d'autres questions pour l'instant du public, moi, Fawzia, j'aimerais te demander par rapport à la situation du Covid,
Yes,
comment,
please.
oui,
Yes.
comment on peut vivre en paix avec cette menace qui touche donc notre humanité. J'entends dans tout ce que tu as dit qu'on a la capacité de transformer énormément de choses avec notre souffle et notre conscience, comment on va ouvrir en nous des espaces qui pourtant viennent toucher ce poumon. C'est un peu paradoxal parce qu'on est confinés, on nous éloigne les uns des autres et malgré tout, on a un message d'être en paix avec ce qui se passe, qui vient nous toucher.
Well, the origin of why this virus came, why this happened, there are many theories for that. And there are also many worries of how things might be, the situation we're in can be maybe misused so that we can be controlled or suppressed by it. So it is a time when such a crisis comes, it's a time of where fears come up and worries come up. And since we have human beings that can reflect, we also imagine all the things that can come out of that. I personally think nothing can happen in this world without that the Creator agrees to it. That means without the order of the Creator. Now, there are two things. Nothing in this world can be without the order of the Creator. But if it is something negative, then it is without the doing of the Creator. If it is something good, then it is with the doing of the Creator. That's why often we have some things we do, they are really, you have the feeling you're being blessed, you're being carried through. And other times we have feeling that we are blocked. So the difference between this and that both come from the order of Allah, but not everything from fi'lullah. Or in Arabic you say amrullah, order, but not fi'lullah. So everything comes from the order of Allah. And this is something that has touched the whole planet, all of humanity, which is unusual. Usually when we go through crisis, parts on this world go through them. Even the flood with Noah was not on the whole earth. But if something like that comes, one of the most important things is that every individual asks herself and himself, what do I really want from life? It's like the bees. Every bee goes its own journey to the outside. And we should be like bees. Every bee that is in this earth, every human being, every bee that is entering into life, going to the forest or going to the meadows or wherever, should know and ask, what do I want from life? What do I want from myself? And what do I want to contribute? Just like the bee, every bee goes alone and has its adventures and its difficulties and everything, but it always has in the back the hive, the beehive, because it comes back and it comes back with that information and with that nourishment, and it comes back for the community. So whatever might happen or how things will develop, this is what I think is the most important thing now for us, that we really reflect upon our life. What is really important for me? What do I want to do? And this I can only figure out if I take time for myself. And here, breathing is very important, because breathing helps you to go, just as closing the eyes, helps you to go from the outside to the inside. And if you sit every day for 5 minutes and just breathe and just be calm and just let everything relax and these over tensionless senses calm down, then you will come into a dialogue. Then slowly you will hear your inner voice, the voice of the soul that is inspired by the divine. And we have been given 2 shores or 2 tools by God. He has given us able to enter into the stream of light or truth. We have the mind and we have the heart. And when these 2 work together and inspire each other, then, and they are held together by the breath, you will really see what you really want from life and and the richnesses you carry. So this is what I would suggest for that, to really reflect on that. What is really important for you in life? What do you want? And what do you want to contribute? What do you want to give? So that you can be in your light. And also then you can be clear with decisions that you have to take, whatever decisions they are. And you can stand up and carry the consequences, because every decision has a consequence. But if I'm clear what is important for me in life, and what I want from life, then I can stand up. And then I can also stand up for justice and for freedom and for respect. Once we have all come from one continent, it is our original continent, and it is Africa. Africa is the continent of all of us. It is Mama Africa. And when we look at Africa, we can also clearly see what has gone wrong in and how we have done wrong to each other. As I said, not only to nature, but also between us human beings. And how it is really an old joke to still distinguish between black and white, and women and men, and rich and poor, and up and down. It is time that we transform that. Because if we don't do, maybe it's time for us to leave. Yes.
Merci, merci. Alors, j'invite les participants à poser leurs questions. Et il y a des grands merci pour Fawzia. Et sinon, on peut continuer. Moi, j'ai eu la chance de pratiquer avec Fawzia lors de stages de derviche, toutes les différentes respirations avec les éléments. Et s'il n'y a pas de questions, j'aimerais bien que tu puisses nous parler des 4 éléments et comment ils agissent en nous dans le corps par la respiration et pourquoi ces pratiques, notamment dans les derviches tourneurs, sont utilisées.
Whirling is an active meditation. The Sufis say, when you whirl, it is raining Allah. Meaning you feel the blessings that we have much more intensive. So whirling is an active meditation that gives you an axe where you are steady with one leg, and then you walk from one world into the other, meaning from one state to the other, meaning all these states we carry in us are touched by the right foot. And at the same time, you see how the outer world is turning around you, till the experience comes as if you are in complete stillness in the inside and everything moves. This is when you come out of time. So the breathing of the whirling is a very subtle breathing, which we call the breathing of the essence. And the breathing of the essence is similar to the breathing of the earth, which is inhaling and exhaling through the nose, but it's much more subtle. It is as if it is a silent breath. So it's not, but it's very, very subtle, so that almost nothing moves when you breathe. It's a very gentle, subtle breath that helps you to come into that state of peace. But before you come into that state of peace, let me show you a breathing exercise that helps you to enter into the heart. So you symbolize it by taking your hand and closing your hand like that. This finger, the index finger, is rolled. The index finger is rolled and then it's closed. Yeah? You do it with both hands and closed. So these two fists symbolize the heart. And now we do as followed. You take 3 steps of inhaling. And so it's like 1, 2, 3. And then you hold, and then you exhale into the heart. So the 3 have to be quite intensive. So it's almost painful to an extent, a little bit painful. Hold, and then breathe into the heart. Okay? There you can see, if the fingers are too unrelaxing for you, you can open them, but it's just a help because you have the heart, so to speak, in your hands again, symbolized. So these 3 inhalings and holding makes a little bit of a pain in the chest. And then you exhale deeply into the heart. Let's try it 3 times together. So close your eyes and in your own rhythm, inhale 3 times. Let the inhaling be a strong inhaling. And you will feel it is not that easy to enter into the heart. And then with the exhaling, enter into the heart and stay generously long there. Stay consciously connected with your heart. When you're finished, open your eyes. So, if you have any other questions.
Oui, alors il y a une question, mais il faudrait l'écrire en fait, parce qu'on ne peut pas donner le micro. Et il y a une question en anglais, Monique, qui vient d'être écrite par Asa. Tu la vois?
Well, on a spiritual path, you need willpower. Because with the willpower, you can shut doors that are open and stand in your way. And with the willpower, you can focus. That's why if somebody is on the path, you call him murid, the one who wants and knows what he wants or what she wants. So wanting and willpower is important as an energy, as a quality, but not connected to wishful thinking. There are two different things. It is when if I connect my will to my wanting, then it becomes an obstacle to surrender. But if I am already on the path and I know what I want, and I need my willpower to shut doors that are disturbing me. And you also need the willpower if you are on the path of love. It means you're opening more and more your heart to be more and more embracing creation. If you do not have a willpower, your heart will be constantly broken. So you need a willpower. It is only where you don't need it is when your will, as I said, is connected to your wanting and to your expectations. Then it stands in your way. But if your will is there that you can surrender it to whatever the one who gives the will gives you, then it is of no problem. The problem is when things are not as I want them, that I use my will. I want that, I want that, I want that. And then the fire comes, because the fire of resistance comes. And this is why we talk about fire and light. Nar wa nur. There's only one weak letter in the two words that are to be changed. Nar is resistance, nur is surrender. And definitely breathing helps in that. And usually when you have problems in, as you said, when the will is too strong, and as I said, one has to define it, there are also divine names that are used with the breath to support and help and make a balance again. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Fawzia. On va certainement arriver à la fin de notre rencontre. Ça fait à peu près... Ah oui, bien sûr. Tu l'as dit en français, qu'on puisse l'entendre.
Mm-hmm. Well, we often think peace is the opposite of war. But as long as we think of peace and war as opposites, we will always be stuck in these two qualities. There is always a coming and a going and a transformation. And in that transformation, there will be always periods of more peace and periods of more war. It is in the quality of the darkness that it gives possibility for the light to grow. And it is in the light that comes that the possibility for darkness grows. These are the rules of this world. We are neither in heaven nor in hell. We are in a world in between. And there will always be peace and there will always be war in this world. And they will always come one through the other. As we can see that often, that when we bring peace to one region, then it might bring out a war in another region. Everything is connected and everything is moved. But what is important for us human beings is, where am I standing in the movement? What is my role in the movement? Am I contributing to the peace, or am I contributing to the war? Am I contributing to light, or am I contributing to darkness? The movement of the universe or the world will always be a movement between peace and war. And they are connected with each other. If I want peace, I have to accept war or conflict, if you want. But it is us human beings who are capable of bringing harmony and disharmony. And if you decide to walk the path of harmony, bringing balance, because harmony is balance, and we know, every one of us, when we do something wrong, or something wrong is done to us, there is immediately an imbalance there. And this imbalance stays till either we convince ourselves that we were right and go into the path of compromises, or we accept the responsibility and transform what we have to do. But the world will always have these two qualities. As I said, it's not heaven and it's not hell. It's a world of duality. And to come out of that duality, we need a third force. So the one is there, and then is the duality in this world, a reflection, so that we see each other in each other, learn from another, transform ourselves. And then it is through that duality comes back to the one through the three. Meaning the consciousness of the third brings me back to the one. I hope I could answer your question. When we breathe, we are actually in a meditative state of giving and taking. And we are all energy fields that interlink with each other. If I stand near a tree, I am standing in the energy field of that tree. If I'm standing near a fish, I'm in the energy field of that fish. There is already, through the breathing, a communication. Even if I'm not conscious of everything, it is there. But we human beings can become even conscious of that. And conscious of that is when we open our heart and understand that we all come from one source, and we will all go back to that one source. So we are actually, all of us, one big family. Now we have the humanity as a family, but we have the whole of creation as our family. And when we open our hearts to that, because the heart has never forgotten that, it is the mind that is so busy with dealing with life that it has forgotten that, but the heart has never forgotten that. The heart knows that we are connected. And every one of us knows the difference between somebody jumping angry at us and we are jumping angry back, or if we wait for one day and reflect and go deeper and then answer. We have both qualities. Jumping immediately is always from the ego and the mind that wants to react immediately. And the going deeper comes when the heart talks. So we are connected with everything through our breathing. What we need is to be conscious of that. And for that, we need practices, but we also need spirituality. We need spiritual guidance. Life without spirituality is dangerous, and religion without spirituality is dangerous. So connecting to this world is connecting to Allah, or connecting to that one source, the beginning and the end. And when we see that, then we start seeing light, this light in everything, and everything reminds us of that source. And everything we touch, we become polite, we become gentle. That doesn't mean that we don't fall into screaming and shouting from time to time, because we're humans, and it is also important to make mistakes. And the Creator allows us and lets us make mistakes, to experience pain and to experience illnesses, because these things allow us to go deeper. And then we come out again, and we are wider. We are wider, and maybe before we could only love one group of people, and then suddenly it widens. That's why the cross is such a beautiful symbol, because the cross shows you that the deeper you go down into the verticality, into yourself, the wider your embracement of the universe is. And in the middle of that cross pulsates a heart. So yes, communicate and talk to your fish, and talk to your trees, and talk to the flowers, and to the clouds, and to your pot, and to your table, in front of other people, maybe silently. But yes, open your heart, be playful and grateful and loving, and make mistakes, and say Alhamdulillah, and do and continue and learn from them, but don't stay stuck in self-pity and punishment. The world is where we grow, and the world is like many, many mirrors in which we can see ourselves. And the purer the mirror of our heart is, the clearer we see ourselves also in all of creation. Because we fall in love with creation, because we know about the Creator. So, I want to thank especially Salima for organizing this beautiful evening. Thank you so much for the honor. And do forgive me. I hope I didn't hurt anyone with my words, or said something that was irritating. Thank you very much for the honor of being invited. May your heart open and widen. May you carry generosity, because generosity opens the sight. We start seeing the uniqueness of everything, especially of our human beings. And may you be protected from all sides. And stay with your breath. Use it as a voyage to the inside and from the inside into the world. May you be protected, may you be blessed. And Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Thank you.
Merci infiniment, Fawzia. Moi, l'honneur est pour nous. Il y aurait tellement de choses encore à dire, tellement de choses à découvrir avec toi et la pratique très riche que je connais. Donc, j'invite ceux qui veulent aller plus loin à te contacter. Vous avez eu le site par le lien et j'espère que cette aventure de goûter avec toi ces expériences du souffle et toute la profondeur du message soufi, de sa sagesse, contribue à semer des êtres de paix dans ce monde déjà avec nous-mêmes. Merci beaucoup. Merci à Monique qui m'a beaucoup aidée pour organiser aussi et la traduction. Merci à Abdella du WebGMA qui est à la technique et bien sûr à toutes les personnes qui contribuent à soutenir l'association pour maintenir des actions alors qu'on est dans des conditions difficiles. Mais c'est merveilleux parce qu'on est un peu de partout et on est ensemble. Merci.
Thank you. Thank you also. A big thank you to my beloved translator, and thank you to Abdullah as well. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.